even like nasemsebenzini ugcina sekuqeka kancane because kumele u-attende ngaleli side yabo, so uyazama ukubhalansisa, but yeah, wena I think having a full-time job just makes it more challenging.
Yeah.
Because the business on its own is challenging, time-consuming. But having a job on the side, it just adds to the challenge.
I love the fact that you said a job on the side.
Yeah, boy. So that really helps. But the important thing to understand, Buguti, that doesn't come immediately. You don't register a business and then start having multiple streams of income. It takes time and patience and actually putting in a lot of money, more than just time. You also, because that's the biggest challenge for some of us as Abantu Abamnyama, is having the capital, the money to. It's easy for us to judge people who maybe they don't start businesses, but it's very important to understand Uguti. We were also fortunate enough to have jobs to finance the businesses we started.
Hi guys, welcome to our podcast.
You are capable.
Thank you so much for joining us. Please don't forget to hit that subscribe button right below. And you know that we love to hear from you guys, so don't forget to leave your comments regarding today's discussion. And also, if you need funding for a small business, if you need funding for education, or if you need mentorship, please don't forget to write to us at info@youarecapable.com. So I am your lovely host, Ulondeka Ndebele, and right over there is the awesome husband.
Mr. Awesome Husband, Bulelani Ndebele over here. So yeah, my flabbergastingly beautiful wife over there, Ulondeka. But we're joined, without further ado, today by an amazing power couple.
Yes, can I introduce the power couple? Well, actually, they happen to be very good friends of ours. This is our power couple, Rose and Uminenhle. Well, I will let them introduce themselves. Yes, so Rose, I will start with you. Who is Rose? Just tell us a little bit about yourself, where you grew up, what you studied, what you're currently doing right now. Yes.
So, hi everyone at home. I'm Rose Ginya. I grew up in Stegspruit. It's in the Eastern Cape, very, very rural. Probably never heard of it.
I haven't. Have you?
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, she stayed with me for a year.
Yes.
To be fair.
Yeah.
Yes, and I studied at high school. It's called Tlokweni. It's a great school. We have some very amazing people from there. And I went to UKZN, studied BSc land surveying, and I'm a professional land surveyor now, self-employed, and we run a business on the side, nominally Scheme Sam. Scheme, And I'm also a mom. Yes. To a 3-year-old boy.
Yeah.
He's very cute. Anyways.
Very cute. So adorable.
But yeah, I think that's all.
Yeah, thank you so much, Rose. And then,
Mr. Minenhle.
Minenhle Ngubo, born in Kwamashu, Durban, grew up in Newlands West. Studied at UKZN, where I met Rose. By profession, I'm a civil engineer. Working for, I don't know if I can say the name, but it's one of...
It's okay.
one of the bigger municipalities in KZN. And that's my story.
And we met on campus a while back.
Yes.
So as Londek has already said, literally, welcome guys to the podcast. We just want you to feel comfortable. Welcome today. We're going to be asking you a couple of questions. Are you ready?
But before you ask, thank you for having us. I think it means a lot to be recognized, even especially by our peers. For me, I
I did say to Rose that they may not know, but for me, you've inspired me as well.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, the inspiration that I received from you guys is the fact that, us young people, we want, well, not all of them, I'm not stereotyping that young people are a certain way. But, we love to look good as women. When we start working, a lot of us can focus more on, let me look pretty, let me buy a weave, let me drive the fanciest car, wear the nicest clothes, the most expensive brand. But for me, what I saw from you guys and really loved is the fact that you were willing to sacrifice for your future.
Yeah.
And I really admired that. And, the fact that you had a vision for the future, not just for today, to say, hey, let me invest into my future first before, not that you're neglecting yourselves, but you had the future in mind and not just living for today. So that is quite amazing.
Sure.
It really is. It really is.
It's like delayed gratification, eh? Literally the
Yes,
sacrifices.
yes.
And we always speak about this. And literally, when we speak about you guys, it's always that pass to say we really, really are learning a lot from you guys as well, So definitely, without further ado, we would love to actually know, where did you guys meet?
That's where we're gonna go.
Yeah, we have to start there. Watch it.
Well, we met on campus back in 20. It's a long story.
We want to hear it.
So I met him in 2012, but he met me in 2013. So
Okay.
that's how long the story is. It's like a year long before it even began. But yeah, and he was a crush on campus, never knew me, never noticed me, and then a year later he noticed me and
I wonder what you did.
dreadlocks. Apparently.
Give us some tips. Well, I'm taking.
Well,
Tips,
yeah, it was the dreadlocks because before I had relaxed hair and I looked very nice. I was still fresh from varsity, not chewed by applied maths and physics. But he still didn't notice me.
Yeah.
And then I changed the hairstyle and then that's how I think but I think he can answer for himself.
2013 or 2011.
What had changed?
Yeah.
2013.
Sure.
Yeah. But me now, I was convinced that she was the first year. 'Cause
Oh.
I didn't see her on campus.
Wow. That's a compliment, by the way.
To who?
Good. Yeah.
No, I didn't exist to this guy for a year, and he existed. He was there. He was in my space.
Yeah.
It happens with us. It's the reverse. Umbulelani, he met me in 2012, and I met him in 2013. So
I
it
didn't
happens.
exist for a year to her.
Not so.
To change before to
You didn't change your hairstyle, obviously. What did you change?
I changed my
No, he
game.
introduced himself. He said, "I'm the weird guy at the back of your class who's always looking at you."
Yeah.
That was the trick, yeah.
So no, definitely. So you guys met, but when did like the working relationship kind of start to kind of form? When did that kind of happen?
I'd say, last semester, I'm going to say the project.
Final year.
Yeah, final year.
Yeah.
So it wasn't business. It was an issue of she was doing a dissertation.
Yeah.
And I was clued up on the subject matter because
Sure.
it was more it had a lot of geotech engineering. So I was helping her out with that.
Yeah.
So I think that was I don't know if I could say seed of the working relationship, because I think that's where we saw that we can actually work together. And then it manifested again later on when we were both working. She was working. She was working. I don't know if I can say employer names.
It's up to you guys if you're comfortable. If not, it's fine.
She was working. I was working. No, we were both. We both had an income.
Yeah.
And we both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The working relationship is coming out there.
Yeah, and well, I didn't know, like, I have never thought of it from that far back, from when we were at school, but that's how it actually, you know, it may have started. But yeah, Pastala Sebenza, we had ideas, and it turned out we had similar ideas.
Sure.
In 2011, when I first went to school, I stayed with Commune. And I looked at it and I was like, you know, one day, and it was owned by a black woman, and I was like, this is me in a couple of years. And then I met Tumina Engle 2 years later, yeah. And he stayed at a commune, and he so much had the same idea. Naye ukuthi, you know, this is what you know, something I would like to do. And then at that point I realized it's okay, so you know, still fun. We think alike. And even though at that time it wasn't where we were like, yeah, we're gonna do this together, but so he is in the same kind of mindset as I am. So yeah.
So fast forward a bit to, let's say 20, because we started working in 2015. So fast forward to 2016, we had this idea, because we did some research and we shortlisted a few sectors. It was named, it was mainly real estate and the food industry. We tried something in the food industry, in agriculture, it didn't work out. So we went on to real estate. So our first approach, what we did, we tried to gather a group of peers. I think it's about 10.
How difficult was that?
Let's talk about that. Because we encountered a similar thing, but yes.
It was easy to gather people, because we formed a WhatsApp group, and then we pitched the idea. We pitched the idea, we talked a bit, and then we met soon after. Maybe 8 or 9. We met at Botanic. We met and we spoke a bit about the idea. And from that meeting, everyone seemed like they liked the idea. So now when it's time to follow up on the idea, so sabona ukuthi okay, lento I think izosebenza if usenza so-2. Because simqonde nowodwa and sobabili we're willing to ukuthi push le idea. So kwafika kanjalo ekutheni siyenza sibe u2 lento.
And thanks for sharing about that. I think it's very important for us to understand, even out there at home and watching from wherever you are, the importance of working in unity. It's very critical to work together. It actually is a challenge. We keep talking about it in this podcast, especially in our, race. I would mention.
As I said earlier, when we started, the fact that that's the one thing I admire about you guys. In that group, maybe other people have had different focuses. It's more like this thing is gonna take money away from me. Right now, I'm driving a vehicle that is costing me 8,000 rands a month. But if I invest into that, I won't be able to afford. But the fact that you had that vision to say, hey, we are looking into the future. So for me, that's what I really, really admire. And I hope someone watching can take that away to say, you know what, let me sacrifice now for future gratification. So that's quite powerful.
For sure. And receiving multiple streams of income. It's an important thing. The multiple streams of income, you guys already started it from
a very young age.
Exactly. Basically, it shows that, in the whole unity side of things. So you've already told us about how you guys started your business. But would you maybe kind of explain to us, or maybe give us a bit of an insight in terms of the inspiration and also the discipline and time that goes into this? Because obviously, we speak about businesses, but I'm sure there's a lot of time and discipline that goes into it.
Oh, sorry, before we get to that, maybe if you can just let us in terms of the businesses that you guys are busy with, and then we can move on to the inspiration. I think we'd love to know.
Okay, I know.
So we have Intersakusa Property Investments, which is the property business we've started together. Sakala nge commune, obviously, which we still have. And then we added and then we added, and then we sold. So we only left with the one we started with.
All right.
But now we're looking into still as in Tatakusa, just maybe expand in terms of, instead of buying and then commune, just the development, you know, so to have a development that's because what we notice as well is that the amount of knowledge and skill we have, and how it always surprises me how civil engineers, land surveyors, you know, quantity surveyors, we are the people pushing the project, seeing it through, but it's never us who are doing the project. It's usually someone, and no offense to the people who do this, they have money, yes, but they have no knowledge of how this thing should go. So that's the inspiration for me. I look at this and I'm like, we have so much knowledge, and with everything we have learned up to this point, because when we say we own a commune, it looks like, you know, but the amount of e-learning that we had to do for that to you know, to be there, and so we can take all that we have learned and put it into something bigger, and that's what we are working on.
Knowledge is power. That's the lesson for today.
No, that's very true. But Minenhle, how do you maintain the time and discipline in doing all of this, you know? It's easy. I always feel like, I won't say it's easy, because obviously you have to start the business at some point. It's not easy to start a business, but it's easy in my understanding to actually put together the documents. But running the business, that's another story altogether.
And considering that you still have your full-time job. You know.
So how do you guys find discipline and time?
It's very challenging, because especially, I think somehow education system it doesn't prepare us for anything business related. Because I remember when we wanted to register the company, we didn't know where to go, what to do. I called, I think it was Ukaya. I called him, and Department of Trade and Industry. Bona bangelela kwa-SEDA, and then kwa-SEDA bangitshela khona ukuthi I can go online. So yabo nje from the start, yabo there's some information gap ekhona, and that's the first challenge. But once a business is ikhona, it seems like you've achieved something, but you're just at the starting point. So it's quite challenging, because even like nasemsebenzini ugcina sekuqeka kancane, because kumele attend ngaleli side, yabo, so yazama ukubalansisa, but kona I think having a full-time job just makes it more challenging. Because the business on its own is challenging. Time consuming, but having a job on the side, it just adds to the challenge.
I love the fact that you said a job on the side.
It still is a job. It's a job. But there's an importance, obviously, of having multiple streams of income, right? Because surely now you've got your job, like you said, at a particular municipality, and also now you've got this other thing that you're doing that you guys love doing, you know, together as well. So obviously, I'm sure it does help to have different, or is it a yay or no, a nay?
It does. From my side, it does, because the way I look at it now, the job itself is an asset, in that it brings in a monthly income, but then it's a liability, because bafuna 40 hours a week. So it's a matter of balancing out your assets, because the business is also an asset that brings in its own income and requires its own hours. So it's a matter of balancing out your assets and liabilities. That's the way I look at it.
And the way I look at it is something like a pandemic that happened last year. You know, and I was self-employed, still am self-employed. So there's no work, you know, I wasn't getting any salary from my land surveying I don't know if I should call it a business or a job, but so I'm not working there. But at least there's this part, there's this side, and I know would say I can always go back to that and live ngayo, yabo. So that really helps. But the important thing to understand, we would say, that doesn't come immediately. You don't register a business and then start having multiple streams of income. It takes time and patience and actually putting in a lot of money, more than just time. You also, because that's the biggest challenge for some of us as Abantu Abamnyama, is having the capital, the money to. It's easy for us to judge people who maybe they don't start businesses, but it's very important to understand Uguti. We were also fortunate enough to have jobs to finance the businesses we started. So
that's very powerful. Actually, I like what you've mentioned, that you've actually tapped into the fact that a lot of money went into it, and Minette did say the time as well. So I'd like if maybe you've got more of sacrifices that actually go into having your own business, or the sacrifices that you guys had to make into saying, I really want to see this thing work.
sleep.
Oh, yes.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
And it's true. It's very true. I think a lot of people don't speak about that. When you start a business, especially if you're still working, and you also mentioned it, Minette, there's sacrifice, guys. You need to sacrifice your time. You need to sacrifice sleep at times. At times we have 4 a.m.
And I think that's the part of business that a lot of people don't show. You know, we see everything nice and rosy, but there is the sacrifice behind everything. And as well, I think with them sharing, it also helps us understand the fact that it's not just you. If you're starting a business or you're doing you're planning to start one, it's not just you who goes through those struggles. Other people have gone through those struggles. So I think that's very important. Yes, sorry, interrupted.
No, I don't know where I was, but it's the sleep for me.
In terms of the sacrifices that you had to make.
Yeah, it's the sleep, and also having degrees. Can I brag about my degree?
Yeah. You are more than welcome. You are more than welcome.
But as people who also went through the same thing, you understand, from university, you don't sleep. So I feel like we were fortunate to go to Sakala Corner, and that prepared us, for this. We were never used to sleep anyways, and therefore when the business comes and you're not sleeping, it's something you already, you've already, so it's not completely new. So,
and it's the thing we always talk about, the fact that when we look at us, our sleep pattern is still the same as university. Literally, we still have those long days up until, now.
Because you finish your day job, then you still need to get into, because we're also in accommodation property as well, but maybe not at your level, but we are there. And the idea is that when you're sitting there, you need to sacrifice certain things. At times it's TV that's going to be sacrificed. You always have that statement that talks about libraries and TVs and all that, right? You've got, most of the wealthy people in the world literally have libraries. You know what I mean?
It says victims have big TVs and then leaders have large libraries.
There we go. That's the one I was looking for. So she got it for me. So literally, that's the idea.
I am the help, so
100%.
I'm your helper.
100%. So, and that whole thing of saying that if literally you think about it, I like how you guys have shared, and these guys have shared a lot about, they had an idea. It started from an idea. They had to go and do something. We're talking about that. They applied to CEDA. So you tell us a bit more as well, because I know there's people listening from home as well who might want to know, if I want to start a business, where do I actually do it? How do I do it? Maybe you can take that on, Mr. Minesh.
Okay, so our master plan, how we did it, it was, we registered our company in October 2016 on CIPC. So then we registered the company with the intention of buying a property for students' accommodation. So what we had money to cover a deposit and attorney fees. So we went around looking and we found a place that we wanted, got in touch with the agent and filled in the sale agreement, we put in our offer.
Yeah.
And then we went, I think there was a bond originator involved somewhere, but we gave him our projections.
Yeah.
So I think that served as some form of a business plan. So we gave them our projections, we gave them like all our details.
Yeah.
So our concept was that we will buy a house in the company name and then register ourselves in our personal capacity as sureties.
Okay.
Yeah, so the bond would be in the company name and then secured by us as sureties. That was our approach.
Sure.
And that's how we managed to secure a bond for a company that's new, that hasn't been trading at all.
That's interesting, eh?
Yeah, so that was our approach, and fortunately for us, it worked.
Sure.
Yeah, they
Oh, wow.
yeah, someone up there gave us a chance.
Yeah.
And I think because they also asked to submit our qualifications.
Sure.
So I think that we managed to derive value from
Sure.
having a degree
Sure.
other than just going to apply for a job or a CV. We managed to derive that value from the degree.
I like that because a lot of people now, and we speak about it a lot as well on the podcast, there's this whole idea of saying degrees are dead, or you don't need to study, or you don't need to do that.
Yeah.
But I feel like literally all these things complement each other, right? If you want to start a business, it's important to know how to run
You
it.
need the knowledge, yes.
you
You
know.
need the knowledge, you need the capital. As Rose did say, that it actually helps having a job because you get to be able to fund that business and have an income
An
that's
income.
still there.
And for me, what I've seen in the past year was just how much I was talking to people. I'm not sure why, but I just started talking to people about buying property and all of that, and it was very even confused. There's people who have degrees who have no idea what their degrees can do for them. You know, not the money you have in your account, not your salary, but the fact that you have a degree. You know, so it's very important to realize that Ella Pepper is not just for
Wow.
being employed.
Yeah.
It's just for.
Yeah.
It's also to open opportunities for you. You can flash it.
sure.
I have a degree and
And we work hard for that.
we work very hard
You
for
can
them.
brag about, I mean, those sleepless nights.
Yo.
Yes.
I was traumatized for years afterwards, to be honest.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so but you get people, nurses, teachers, you have a degree, and it does not matter ukuthi you have this qualification. Try and see how you can use it.
Yeah.
Find a way to manipulate the system using that
Yeah.
qualification. That's just, I think, what we did, what Minendle was saying, ukuthi, that's what we did.
It gets you in the door.
It does, and
Yeah.
it makes people listen.
Sure.
While we're on the subject of degrees, can I put a question to you?
Sure.
Let's
That's
hear
interesting.
it. Putting us on the spot.
Turn it right around.
Would you say you were oversold on education?
You can take it first, babe.
When you mean oversold on education, meaning what? The fact
Like-
that your life will change once you...
Yabo mina ngikwa-matric emqondweni wami ngangithi the point of me doing matric is to get into civil engineering
Sure.
and university, and the point of getting into civil engineering is to get a job and get a good life.
Sure. Yeah.
Yes.
And then when I get that job, I don't get that good life I was expecting.
Sure.
Yabo.
Yeah, it happened to all of us. We thought we were going to be rich.
Range
And
of
so actually, Bulelani had an opportunity of getting a job in Cape Town, and I was in Gauteng. So I thought, no man, we can fly over every weekend. Like we can just fly every weekend from Cape Town
Living the life,
to,
yeah.
you know, but being a person who works and who has expenses, you know that it's not very practical for you to be flying every weekend.
Yeah.
So I think we all had that idea that we were going to be filthy rich,
Yeah.
you know, once we start working. So I feel like, as you said, Minentle, there's that something is lacking in our
Yeah.
education system. It's not really giving us reality of life to
Sure.
say, hey, after school, this is what happens.
happens, yeah.
So I think we were all, you know,
Yeah.
misdirected in
I
that
don't
way.
know, sorry, but maybe we're not misdirected. Oh, well, from qualification and my profession.
Yeah.
What I've seen is the people who came before us, really, especially black people in South Africa, BE 1994, you know, all of that, tenders out, people were just making it. And people were driving Amrock SE2, maybe 3, you know. So it was true for them. You get education, you get a degree in land surveying, you are set for life.
Can I ask you a question? Is it true if the bank owns the car? Because
no, I'm saying people who bought it cash.
Okay,
yeah, but the people
alright.
I'm talking about is people who got tenders and
okay, you meant in terms of
yes.
okay,
So there's people we saw
Alright,
and sababona
okay, which is
isenzeka
true,
lento,
yes,
you know, kubo, and then we thought it would happen to us too.
Yes,
but the
yes,
truth
yes,
is, Tina, the generation that graduated, you know, with us isn't about different completely, and I'm not sure why.
Can I agree with you guys? Both of you are saying a similar point to what he was asking, actually. Tendering is a business in itself.
So
for you to
they went into business.
They were already consulted.
Yeah.
You know, for me, that's how it comes in to say we were oversold for years. I feel like you're right because the idea was the job doesn't get you there. Let's be honest. Hence, we were talking about also the multiple streams of income today with you guys. Hence, you guys are doing what you're doing. Hence, we are also in property and doing other things. I think it's very important that we educate each other from an early age. Coming back, which is a very important question. I feel like we must educate each other from a career guidance point of view. Guys, these discussions are important to expose that. Let's remember, a job in itself is not enough. Literally. So consulting and tendering and all that, I feel is an idea of actually multiple streams. Some of those guys that were tendering, I'm sure at that time, you'd find that they had a 9-to-5 job somewhere else. And then only subsequently after getting tenders, they realized, you know what, now I'm doing well, but they started somewhere. And that's what you guys are also speaking to us about today. So thank you so much for joining us today as well.
We had such an amazing time with you guys. Thank you so much. We really, really appreciate all the valuable information. I'm sure everyone does as well. And you know, we're not saying that jobs are bad. They are good, but we just need to, you know, reach out for more and more and more as young people. So thank you so much, guys, for joining us. Please, guys, don't forget to comment down below if you've got any other suggestions of businesses that people can venture into. Let us know what your thoughts are regarding today's discussion. If you need assistance, as I did mention before, regarding funding for your business, school, whatever it is, please do write to us on our foundation at info@youarecapable.com. Thank you so much. And always remember that you are capable.